we are working on issuance of title deeds to our people to give them security, and also as a ministry that has a multiplier effect. For instance, if one's property is regularized and one gets some title deeds, obviously the title deed can be used as security to borrow much more money that can be utilized to construct the next house, and that squarely feeds into our aspirations and our mandate. So this is an area where we need to focus ourselves mainly. Discussing with the PS, he indicated that we had prioritized to issue title deeds on government and local authority enabled properties. My plea is that if we could, or what I'm imploring ourselves is that we could move with much more speed. The other area is on repairs and maintenance of government properties. This is actually an eyesore. Most of the government properties that are lying out there are no longer habitable. As we are gathered here, from the discussion that I held with the permanent secretary when he was giving me a brief, he said this year we have gathered first to do our strategic planning, which we think it is going to influence the size of the pocket that should be allocated to us. So we have said, let us make sure that everything that concerns us has been put together, and we will try to justify to our colleagues in the Ministry of Finance, and I'm happy the representatives are here. They will also carry the same message that we have some properties lying out there which ordinarily are supposed to be accruing as a non-monetary benefit to our civil servants, but because of the condition in which the houses are, they are no longer habitable. Civil servants are shunning to occupy those houses, and ultimately, even as a ministry, we are losing out in terms of the revenue that we are supposed to be collecting from those units. And not only that, in most instances, those houses are then getting occupied illegally. We have some people that we are trying to evict as we speak. But what caused that from the onset? It was the fact that the houses were no longer habitable, and some people, some villagers just then decided to occupy the houses. Can something be done to maintain our houses, to repair them, to take them to a habitable state, and also to give the correct image of government? You know, when people are looking at the houses that are out there, they will say, this is what the ministry looks like. Because they are looking at our houses. We need to do something about our houses. Stalled projects. Many projects that were started in the First Republic, we are still grappling to complete the projects. You can imagine, we have just been discussing with the permanent secretary about the Lupane houses that were constructed for the purposes of accommodating our people who got affected by some cyclone, some time, and the houses are yet to be completed, some 4 years later. So we need to focus ourselves on those houses so much that they are completed. We also have some new projects that we must be embarking on. Lupane, again, we were mandated by cabinet to increase the stock of houses that were built over and above the 19 houses that were constructed. We were mandated to increase the stock. And Siakovu, we are supposed to be involved again as a ministry. So there's a lot of work that we shall be doing going forward. As I've been going around in the provinces, I also noticed that one of the challenges that we have is that of office accommodation and also the aspect of mobility. Our people, in as much as we would be expecting them to give us reports from time to time, some are not mobile. So it is an area of concern, and I thought this workshop would take time to consider such issues. Both of us, the Minister of National Housing and Social Amenities, and our twin local government, we have our child youth corp. I'm happy that they are now, they've been able to do all the AGMs. They've been able to catch up. Previously they were struggling, but I'm happy they've now caught up. What I would just implore to them is that they continue to observe some corporate governance requirements as contained in the PPPs Act going forward. I'm also reminded that we have an upcoming housing investments conference, I think this side of the year, where we seek to solicit the views of stakeholders in the housing delivery sector. It is our intention to obtain from our stakeholders on the performance and effectiveness of our policies and our legislative frameworks. The ultimate intention is for capital to flow in the sector of housing delivery. So it's a conference that shall be coming. As I conclude, I want to implore all of us to prepare for a busy 2025 as we envisage to recover from the previous ills given the prospects of a good summer season. We remain indebted to the mantra of Ikaino Akwanebenemayo, which seeks to remind us of our role as a ministry towards the realization of Vision 2030. Thank you very much. Memoranda of understanding. We also need to move as a ministry, moving with the times. Times continue to change. Our technologies are also changing, especially the technology on construction. We cannot be the only country that remains behind. Let's adopt new technologies, and we need to think about how that is accommodated in our plans going into the future. How are we going to adopt new construction technologies? Zimbabwe cannot be the only country that is left behind. You will notice that most of the contemporary technologies are brings about cost effectiveness, cost containment, and also in terms of timely delivery of our projects is something that we need to focus ourselves on. And the other aspect is that of sustainability. We need to do construction which is environmentally friendly. So this is a call that as we will continue to look into our plans, that we accommodate the latest technologies. On the rural settlements, I know we have a full department that is concerned with rural development. Just recently, Cabinet gave a mandate to the ministry to ensure that we increase the stock of toilets in the rural settlements. That came about as a result of a report which was produced through ZIVLAC, where the level of sanitation was indicated to be below what is desirable. And also as we gravitate towards realization of Vision 2030, we cannot safely talk about a safe people and a safe environment when people are still practicing open defecation. So we were given a mandate, and I just want to implore you as you are gathered here to take note of that and to accommodate that in our plans. The other aspect that we have not moved much on is the aspect of consummation of PPPs, public-private partnerships. I know we talk about PPPs, but we have not done much. We need to begin to think outside the box. We cannot just talk of housing delivery when we are focusing on the government alone. Yes, the Permanent Secretary has mentioned projects like the Zivarasekwa. I think soon we will be moving to Marondera. We also have a project of some units that are being constructed in Mutawatawa and many other places. But that is government's efforts alone. If we look at the National Housing Human Settlements Policy, which we promulgated in 2020, it speaks to a number of stakeholders that are supposed to be participating. We have some banks, we have individuals themselves, we have pension houses, we have insurance schemes, which are also supposed to be motivated to participate. We are also sitting onto some large land banks as a ministry. I think the time has come that we should now begin to think of creatively of how we can bring in the private sector to help us to develop faster than the rate at which we are developing currently. According to the policy which I have referred to, by 2020 we had estimated the deficit in terms of housing units to be around 2 million. If we continue at the current trajectory, where most of the efforts is being done by the government alone, then we will get to 2030 and nothing much would have been achieved. So we need to begin to think of doing things differently than what we have been doing in the past. We need to involve the private sector. One of the ways is where we avail the land, they do the construction, they give us a share in terms of the housing units. And when that has happened, that's a credit to government. We will be reducing the deficit in terms of the housing units that we require. I'm aware that through Shelter Africa and the support that we have given as a ministry, CBZ managed to obtain some funding to the tune of 15 million, which they are deploying towards housing delivery. That is very much commendable. And I'm also aware of some other banks that are following suit, and they've already approached us as a ministry to give them support so that they will get access to funding through Shelter Africa. My plea is to expedite our efforts. On housing statistics, I'm aware that at the commencement of the National Strategic period number 1, our target was 220 housing units that we wanted to deliver. But we later had to change when we realized that the target had been achieved, and we thought we could do much more. But the worry still remains on the statistics. How are we getting the statistics? We need to improve on our collaboration with local authorities, collaboration with private entities, those that are involved in developments of the houses themselves. Let's come up with a mechanism whereby we are able to get the correct figures, even on a district by district, the number of houses that are being constructed, not only in amenities, even in rural setups, because all those are houses that are being provided for the people of Zimbabwe. When we are saying that the deficit was around 2 million houses, that was for both the people in rural areas and also the people that are in urban communities. What are we doing to collect the correct statistics? Where technology is required, this is the time to think about it. What is it that we shall do to ensure that we have the correct statistics, we have the correct data, in order for us to make informed decisions? We need correct statistics. I'm happy as a ministry we are devolving to provinces, to districts. What stops us from utilizing that same path, that same mechanism of devolution to get statistics through our people that are in the districts where the actual housing developments are being done?